Good afternoon, and welcome to this beginner Hatha class. And this class will take time in the poses about 3 to 5 breaths. For me, maybe it'll be a little bit more for you, more like 8 breaths in some of the foundational postures that you frequently see in yoga classes. But before we begin, a little bit of mobility and warming on the mat seated before we come to stand and focus on just a few postures today. So you might sit cross-legged. You might sit on a little pillow to tilt the pelvis forward, or a blanket could also be an option, folded blanket. And from here, reach those arms up in the air and bring them through heart center. Just a few rounds of breath like this. I like to inhale as my arms sweep up and exhale as my hands come to heart center. Let's do 3 more. 2. One more time, arms reach to the sky, inhale. And exhale, bring your hands through heart center. Thank you for joining me today. Namaste. From here, hands can come to those shins as we circle the body forward and back. So keep hips grounded and move with the torso. Very base of your pelvis, or base of the spine rather. I like to inhale forward and exhale back. So round 2 more. Last one. In reverse directions. Inhale forward and exhale back. Round 2 more. Last one. And then come through center. Arms might reach for the sky once more. So side bend to the left and the right. Continue. One more to each side. Really reach those fingertips. Open up those ribs. Support your breath. And then come back through center and allow the body to pour forward in a forward fold. Only to roll right up through the spine once more and take the legs and cross them the opposite way. This time, hands can come to those shins. I'll show you from the side. Arch the body or arch the spine and bring yourself forward slightly. And exhale to round. Inhale to arch. And exhale to round. So we floss the spine here. Be fast or slow depending on your breath pattern. Around 3 to 5 more. Finish your last round. And open up across the chest as the arms or fingers press to the outside edges of the room. Then reach up once more. And then rotate toward your left. Arms might come down toward the earth. Sweep the arms up as the torso comes through center. And rotate toward your right. Again, arms reach, torso comes forward, and we rotate. So a few more. Finish one more set on each side. Last one. Next time you reach the sky, pull the belly button in as you round forward. This time tuck the chin slightly and rock the head side to side to massage the thyroid. Small movement here. And then roll up through the spine, uncross the legs, plant the feet, and windshield washer them left and right. Pause on your left-hand side. Maybe lift through the chest a little. Inhale, stick the tongue out and switch sides. Pause here, inhale. And exhale, stick out the tongue. And the hands can come to the short edge of your mat as you bring yourself into tabletop. From here, paw at the earth with your hands. So warm through the fingers. And then if you can, sit on your haunches or sit cross-legged, do so that you can roll the wrists. And from here, plant the hands, tuck the toes, hips up and back, downward facing dog. So spend 3 to 5-ish breaths here. You could spend them in motion and pedal the feet as you press the hands down and the fingertips kind of pull slightly toward one another. So there's a slight dome in the center of the hand. Perhaps you find stillness for this last breath. Inhale. And then exhale to walk the feet forward. Hands to shins halfway lift. Inhale. And exhale to fold. And then bend those knees, hands to thighs, so that you can roll up through the spine. And then lift yourself to stand once there's no dizziness, or as long as there's no dizziness. And bring those feet to round hip distance apart for our mountain pose. So you broaden across the clavicles here. Perhaps the arms come slightly behind the body. Maybe for some, they come to the small of the back as we open up across the heart. And then come to neutral to step that right foot back. Short stance here for warrior one. The arms might sweep up by the ears, or the hands might be at heart center. One more inhale. And as you exhale, step forward and allow that right sole of the foot to come to the inseam of that left leg for tree pose. I like to have my hands at heart center for greater balance. You could have them overhead as well. Press that right foot into the shin. Shin presses back isometrically. It's like a hug of the outer hip. Inhale. And exhale, bring that right knee forward and step back again into the warrior one. Few breaths here. One more inhale. And as you exhale, rotate your torso toward the right. Open up the arms. You might need to adjust your stance slightly here for Trikonasana or triangle pose. Lengthen the lead leg, send the hips back in space. And that left hand comes down, right hand up. Preferably in line with the shoulders. Long spine as we squeeze through the legs. Gaze can be wherever you wish, perhaps the ceiling, perhaps down or forehead or forward. Take around 2 more breaths. One more inhale. And as you exhale, bend that lead knee and bring those arms in line with the shoulder for warrior two. Gaze over the lead fingertips and see if you can keep that back arm as high as the front one. So it's not dipped down as it needs to be because of a shoulder issue. Try not to grip through the toes. One more breath in. As you exhale, drop that back arm and reach to the left one for exalted or reverse warrior. One more breath in. And then exhale to return to warrior two, only to again come into triangle. Send the hips back in space. Shorten your stance if you need. Imagine you're between two panes of glass. One more inhale. And as you exhale, bend that left knee and bring that same forearm to the thigh. The other arm could be at your side, could be in alignment with the shoulder, or could be over the ear as we try to lengthen through both sides of the rib cage, or side angle. And press that hand or that forearm into the thigh, and the thigh isometrically presses back, just so we're not dumping. Sense of lift and elongation. One more inhale. And then exhale to pivot on the back toes and allow the hands to come down to the earth. Let's drop that back shin and bring the hands to the inseam of the lead leg for lizard. Just trying so you can see what it looks like from the front. Hands could be on blocks as well. So we open up through the hip flexors. A few more breaths. Just want to stretch a little bit here, stretch sensation. One more long inhale. And then exhale to step that left foot back so that we're on our knees. Perhaps you sit in child's pose just for a moment. And then return to tabletop, only to tuck the toes and send the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Few more breaths. Press the earth away through the fingertips. And then as you exhale, begin to walk the feet forward to the front short edge of your mat. Again, those hands to shins halfway lift. Inhale, elongate the spine. And exhale to fold. Bend the knees, hands to the thighs. Lift just through the torso here, with the knees still bent. I'm going to work for the legs. And then press yourself up to stand. Arms may sweep overhead. And hands can come to heart center. Step back with that left foot. And hands could stay here or they could rise by the sides of the ears. A few breaths in our warrior one. Remember that we're not in a balance beam here, but rather train tracks with the feet. One more inhale. And then as you exhale, see if you can come into that tree pose on this side. So that left sole of foot to the right shin. And the inner outer leg hugs in both, hug in everything toward midline. All spine. One more inhale. And exhale to bring that left knee forward and step back again into the warrior one. Perhaps the arms reach this time. Doesn't really matter. The arms are just dressing here, really focused on our legs. Nice today. One more inhale. And exhale to open your torso toward the left side wall, whether hands are at heart center or not. Bring the arms out from the shoulders. You may need to adjust the back foot a little bit to lengthen the lead leg and revolve the arms into triangle. that long front leg without being locked. And never press on the knee with the hand. Just as a little note, you can press it into the shin as long as the shin kind of presses back. One more inhale. And exhale to bend the lead leg so that you can lift those arms to shoulder height. Torso open to the left side wall for a warrior two. Just your stance as needed. One more inhale here. As you exhale, drop the back arm, reach through the right arm. Exalted. Inhale here. And exhale, hands again, extend directly from the shoulder, lengthen the lead legs and hips back in space for another triangle. One more breath in. And as you exhale, bend that right knee so the forearm can come to thigh. Do what you will with that top hand as you lengthen the spine. And always feel free to adjust your stance as needed. We all have different lengths of levers, of legs and arms. Make sure your knees and your hips feel comfortable, that you feel strong. One more inhale. And as you exhale, turn your torso toward the earth as you pivot onto the back toes. Hands come down. Back knee lowers to the earth, untuck the toes, and bring the hands to the inseam of the lead leg for lizard on this side. With this pose, make sure the knee of the right leg is in alignment with the ankle, at least in this variation. You press your earth away through your hands. Around 3 more breaths or so in this posture. I like to stay here a little longer. One more inhale. And as you exhale, see if you can slide that right leg back so the knees match. And perhaps you sit your bottom to your heels. Here I'm in a narrow child's pose. You can also widen the knees. Mine are around hip distance or shoulder distance-ish apart. The wider you go, the more space you can make for your lower back. Narrow, have more compression on the belly. Great for fall. Or inhale here. And as you exhale, begin to roll up through the spine. You could be sitting on your bottom with your legs crossed already. Or a few breaths in seated meditation. Bring one hand to your belly and one hand perhaps to your heart, if it feels okay for the shoulders. And see if you can breathe belly, ribs, chest, and chest, ribs, belly, like a wave. Feel the belly, ribs, chest, and exhale, chest, ribs, belly. Continue with this wave. your own pace. Around 3 to 5 more rounds. Perhaps there's a pause at the bottom and top of each breath. It's your last round if you're not already there. Release the hands if you had them. Palms could be turned down or up on the thighs. Perhaps you bring your index and the thumb together. So the nail beds, the beds of the nails together. Extend the other fingers. So your middle, your ring, and your pinky. Lengthen the arms here. So palms turn up. The palms could be down as well. So the palms turned up is associated with consciousness, turning kind of like outward energy. And palms turned down is more like knowledge and kind of turning inward. Maybe you need to conserve energy. You need to, you could always cross your legs the opposite way, a little bit of equanimity in the hips. After your next inhale, you exhale, sigh through the mouth. Again. Make some sound last round. Release those hands, maybe open and close them a few times. And then reach for the sky as you bring the hands through heart center. Feel free to take a supine savasana after this if you wish. But here instead today, we just did a short seated meditation, breath work, awareness. Sat Nam.